And we're going to be getting Ascendancy, which is going to be very important. This one. This is the scene that I have to use. Okay. Yeah, last time we were able to finish up everything in here in Act 2. And I think I should be current. Yeah, I'm still good with regards to passive skills, so we're good. So now we begin Act 3. Obviously, there's a lot of like background information going on in this, so I would highly recommend just, you know, watching the previous VODs and whatnot beforehand. But obviously, I know you can't really do that if you're just watching it live or if you're just doing this for noise. Which, I mean, hey, fair enough. This is a really good noise stream. Same thing with the whole game, actually. The whole game is a really good noise game stream thing.
I don't mean to sound ungrateful, but we've no time for talk. Tolman was out here with me, and now Piety has him. They're headed for the crematorium. I've no chance against Piety and your blackguards, but you're another matter entirely. Please, you found it in your heart to rescue me. Tolman is just as worthy of your generosity.
Okay. Oh, ancient graffiti. What?
Mortality is the mother of life. We have turned our backs on her.
If I remember right, graffiti like that is very much like that was a thing during the Eternal Empire, the reign of the Eternal Empire.
Ready, Exile? It is time to hunt. Off you go, little beast. Away!
Now we're at the town, the Sarn encampment. I also wanted to do this because I am currently just waiting on I'm waiting on someone to get back to me about some artwork that I made, because I really like how it turned out, but I need to wait for them to tell me how it turned out, and it's good. So let's actually start by talking with Clarissa over here.
Watch yourself.
Because we actually, we met her earlier.
You're alone. So Tolman's... You didn't go to the crematorium? No, of course you didn't. This isn't your fight. I'm sorry. It was wrong of me to put that on you. To ask you to risk your life for someone you don't even know. Don't worry. I'll work something out. I always do.
Well, and in the meantime, let's go ahead and talk with everyone else.
Madamour Patur thanks you, Exile, for returning our Clarissa to us. She is the gentle heart of this place, a spirit still capable of love in this wasteland of hatred. Yet that gentle heart remains in jeopardy. Tolman isn't deserving of Clarissa, but she'll not smile until he's by her side.
Also, Goblin ASMR, so yahoo about that. What about the Ebony Legion?
Dominus and his Ebony Legion arrived some time ago. Now the blackguards scour Sarn like hungry maggots on a carcass. What are they looking for? Only that which is best left unfound.
I'm glad that I'm not trying to record for a serious video or anything. I'm not. That's the good news, is I'm not. All right, hello Hargan, my man.
A stranger walks into a town with a lost lover in tow. Sounds like the beginning of a jest, which I bloody wish it were. Problem is, we're still one doe-eyed lover short, which ain't much good to anyone. They tend to come in pairs, you see. Since you seem to be in the good deeds business, how about throwing a Tolman into the bargain?
I think of the fact that it's like if I was trying to record an actual video right now, I would be so upset because these goblins are ruining this. These fucking goblins, and I can't do anything about them. Alright, what about the slums?
The slums are east of here. Used to house the unwashed of the Empire a couple centuries back. Now it's home to the walking ulcers and sores of this poor city.
I'm going to kill them. I understand now. I understand the hatred. Hey, Grigor.
Come no closer, witch. The name's Grigor, and as you can see, I've had my fill of your kind. So once you've finished admiring your sisterhood's handiwork, turn those icy orbs of yours eastward. Yes, you've brought Clarissa home to us, and once again she pesters me with pity. There's only so much broth, so many bouquets that a man can take. For a criminal, Clarissa has a strangely soft center. Still, I'd rather not see that heart of hers hardened. Use those dubious talents of yours for something worthwhile. Find her boymate, Tolman. Prove me wrong about your kind.
Tell me about the Ezamites.
Death came to town. The roaring Ezamites wore red. The red of blood. The red of the fray. Death came to town. The crying Ezamites wore black. The black of disease. The black of dismay. Death came to town. The silent Ezamites wore gray. The gray of twilight. The gray of decay. Only the Isles of Scoth were spared. Once a backwater of my proud civilization, now all that remains of the Ezamites. Goodbye.
Yeah, for anyone wondering why he talks like that, is because he looks like that. Yeah, he's been corrupted quite heavily.
That would just
Now,
make life complicated.
I believe that's everything until we actually go to rescue Tolman, so let's go ahead and do that. Those fucking goblins, though. I'm serious. Those goblins, oh my god, they were so funny. He has an absence. Pretty big one.
When I'm ready and not before.
I do also like doing these streams right now just because they are very nice, chill. Just turn them on and do whatever stream, you know? I'm not playing to be funny. I'm not playing to be, like, analytical. I'm just here to have some good time, you know?
The Monkey King has built his throne on your back. A throne of gold and gem, polished with blood and tear. Throw off the Monkey King and his shining privy before your back is broken.
If I remember right, I seem to remember reading on the wiki at one point that these graffitis are actually made by Victario, I believe. If they're not, then they're at least, you know, someone who was in the rebellion with the people like Victario. Because obviously the whole thing about Victario is that he was a poet who was able to write about the war with the Eternal Empire, and specifically all the things that happened in it, because he was one of the people who was like right at the center of it. Like, basically every major conflict, including, I believe, the Battle of Lion Eye's Watch, he ended up being there for it, if I remember right. So he basically is just the main character of that whole thing. Again, that's from what I remember. I'll probably have more information as we begin, you know, looking more into this stuff, but we'll just see. Just see. All right. Is there anything here that I want? Not really. I guess I can start pathing my way towards these, like, staff nodes. Actually, if I remember right, staff nodes like this, the staff elemental damage and penetration, is actually not a good thing for me to take because of the fact that it says elemental damage with staves. And because of that, it means that if I'm using elemental damage with a staff, not an attack while wielding a staff. Or a spell while wielding a staff. I don't know. It's weird like that. I know that that's how this game works, where it's like, oh, no. You gotta think of it the other way around. Yeah, compare this to these nodes, which are just increased critical, like, stuff while wielding a staff. That's different. That's very different the way that it works. So, yeah, I will basically path to these staff nodes real quick. I'm not planning on sticking with Crossbolt the whole time because, obviously, this is a very good leveling skill. We only recently discovered how good of a leveling skill it really is. And with the absolute annihilation of Rolling Magma as a leveling skill, well, this is a really good option. And it's really satisfying to use, really fun to use. I will also fully admit that one of the reasons that I was...
You make persecution a way of life.
When I was thinking of like what builds I wanted to do myself, something I've wanted to experiment with in the past is actually a raised skeleton build. But the main issue is that I don't know how that works just yet. I'm assuming that it's going to be kind of like how Summon Raging Spirits was, where you can have like a poison variant, where it essentially is just stacking 8 bajillion poisons on a single enemy. But another option I was thinking of was like maybe if there's a way to like raise the life to a significant degree, and if multiple sources of Infernal Legion can work together, then I could do that instead. But I don't think they do. I would have to look into it though. Because I already know I'm going to be playing as a Necromancer, because I like Necromancer. Necromancer is a fun class.
On the night of 1,000 ribbons, our finest city burned. It burned with fires lit by cruelty and neglect. It burned with shame for giving the title of emperor to a man who did not deserve it.
Yeah, that's definitely... I seem to remember the Night of 1,000 Ribbons is essentially like the inciting incident of this whole war with the Eternal Empire. Like, it was basically just like, it started off with a civil war. I know it also has to do with Cheetus, because he was one of the main... I mean, he wasn't really, you know... he wasn't really allowed to, you know, take... He wasn't supposed to take the throne, he just kind of, like, took it at the last minute.
There she is.
Why did I put down portal?
My work in progress. Let's see if Rayclast has been good to you, witch. Trust your talent, witch! Harness your fear! Enough of this!
Wow, I actually almost beat her. I mean, almost killed her, but you know. So yeah, unfortunately, Tolman's dead. Craftswoman ode to a fresh hope, a new love. I don't think there's anything else in here for lore, so I'll go ahead and move on.
Poor Tolman. I made this bracelet for him when he first arrived here. Idiot said he'd never take it off. I called him a liar. He didn't, though. Not once. I need to give you something. I asked a lot of you out there in the slums. More than I should have. You tried. And that's all we exiles can ever hope to do.
Just tell me about these sewer keys.
Those keys unlock the gates to the sewers. Tolman found them. Figured that in the worst of times, people will hide their wealth in the worst of places. We were never game to test his theory. Not with the Undying down there. But you're strong. Stronger than any of us here. I don't think you need to fear the dark.
Tell me more about Tolman.
Sorry, I need some more time to think. We'll talk soon, I promise.
Okay, fair enough. All right, let's talk to Grigor now.
Listen carefully, witch. Thanks to your sister in art, Piety, I no longer dream when I sleep. I only have nightmares. The same nightmare over and over. The mirror. It's never my reflection looking back. The first time that mirror appeared to me, it was Cole I saw. A rapist from Oriath I had the displeasure of sharing a pen with in Gravisius' stockade.
Oh.
Piety took him for her experiments, and that night I saw her handiwork while I slept. This time it was Tolman. Flesh dried to leather, organs shrunk to husks, blood trickling through his skeleton like red dust in an hourglass. It's Piety's gift to me, that mirror. At least I won't be seeing Clarissa the next time I look into it. And for that alone, I hope it's not you I see either. I walked halfway across this forsaken continent because of an ode. Of jewels and eternity, it's called. For twinkled promises of jewels and eternity, the Gemling Queen gave her heart and body to the King of Shades for one more day in the sun. The last day in the sun. That's but a portion of the full epic. The Gemling Queen lived, and She's the enigma behind the fall of the Ezomites and the Eternals both. Look to the Solaris Temple to the northeast. Find the Gemling Queen's remains before Piety does, and destroy them.
Interesting.
Tolman's dead then. Another victim of Piety's cruelty. Perhaps he escaped lightly. Look upon Grigor to see what life entails under Piety's influence. Let me offer you something. In recognition of all that you have done for us. We shall mourn Tolman's death, as we shall treasure Clarissa's life.
Oh, curse! Wait, keep... What do we got? What do we got? Frostbite. Frostbite requires dexterity. I guess I'll take elemental weakness. It'll do.
General Gravicius demands absolute obedience from his blackguards, meaning he's surrounded himself with cowards and lackwits, unable to lift a finger without orders. If you're able, traverse the river and murder Gravicius in his own barracks. You'll be ripping the very mind from the skulls of our enemies.
Interesting. Tell me about Tolman.
Clarissa will weep for Tolman. She must. The cloud is darkest before the rain.
Tell me... Talk about Grigor.
Grigor straddles two worlds. 1 foot planted on this soil, one in the dirt of spirit and shadow. When you speak with him, be sure to know from which world his words arise.
How about the Purity Rebellion? I do remember. That's right, the Purity Rebellion. I believe that is the big...
It's an often told story among the Karui, how Vol of Thebris bent his knee to my ancestor, King Calm, and promised freedom in return for war. While Vol raised his Purity Rebellion in the heart of the Empire, Calm took Lord Lion Eye's head and the southern coast all the way to Siren's Cove. It was the greatest conquest the Karui have ever seen.
Yeah, I remember that. Right. How would one cross the river?
If I knew how to cross the river safely, I'd be wearing Gravicius' head on my belt.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I'll miss a boy. He was always up for a laugh, whether it was at his expense or not. But I wouldn't miss that Clarissa more. Argan's the name, by the way, and it's my honour to welcome you to Dirty Old Sun, the metropolis of opportunity. The opportunity to make something of yourself, or the opportunity to have a very messy death. Victaria was a poet what ended up leading a rebellion, right under the nose of Emperor Chittis. But here's what really interests me. Our wordsmith was quite a talented larcenist as well. Pulled off the heist of the century, in the name of the people, of course. 3 finely crafted platinum busts, commissioned by Chittis for his favourite trio of generals. Victario and his coppers hold up in the sewers. Now that you have Clarissa's keys, perhaps you'd be inclined to search out those heroic busts for me. I'm sure I can make it well worth your while.
So yeah, that actually does confirm that Victario, his whole thing is that he was basically a leader in the rebellion. Like I mentioned earlier, I seem to remember something like that. Right. Tell me about Clarissa.
I was Clarissa's guardian angel back in Oriath. Put food on the table in return for a bit of light work. I try to keep her out of trouble as best I can here. But San's full of secrets, and Clarissa's full of curiosity.
And Maramoa?
She's just so ample, is our Maramoa. In my mind, you'll find no saucier specimen of womanhood. It's her tattoos and that fancy talk she does. Intoxicating. She's a cool one, though.
I mean, I get it, man. I get it. Tell me about Grigor.
I can't imagine what that poor bastard's been through. It's a miracle Grigor hasn't completely lost his mind. Granted, He's lost one or two pieces along the way, but there's still plenty that's worth listening to.
General Gravicius?
Gravicius is the mailed and bloodied right hand of Dominus, and I thought the Templar were meant to be spiritual men of deepest humanity. You notice the sarcasm in my tone, right? Had to smuggle a fellow out of Theopolis once. Got a bit too friendly with Gravicius's wife, he did. Every blackguard was out on the streets looking for him, so I had to think lateral-like. We took to the drains and didn't put our heads above the pavement until we sniffed the sea. A grubby, bloody job it was, but worth it for the coin he paid. You want a piece of Gravicius? Sometimes the only way up is down.
How about the Purity Rebellion?
I'm no history scholar, but I know that Emperor Chitus was overthrown by Vol of Thebris in the so-called Purity Rebellion. But Vol had the shortest reign of any internal emperor. The Cataclysm sort of that. Stay out of the shadows.
All right, let's go talk to other people like Clarissa just to see if...
Hello.
Anything new? Anything new to say?
Mind.
Oh,
of
Grigor
meat.
has some stuff.
Such is life.
Maramoa.
Maramoa's sure of herself. And that kind of surety gets you killed in Sarn. You and all those around you. Hagen's got the right idea. Don't believe in anything that you can't trade or eat.
And Hagen?
I wouldn't rely on Hagen in a fight, and I wouldn't put too much faith in what he says. But he has one highly useful asset. His obsession with self-preservation. If Hagen deems you of use in keeping his fat self alive, he'll do almost anything for you.
And Victario?
Victario, a fellow warrior of words. He wrote many entreaties to the Ezomites, begging our assistance in helping High Templar Vol depose Emperor Chitus. That was centuries ago. Victario's words held much power then. I imagine they still do.
And Gravicius?
I tried to penetrate the Solaris Temple in the northeast. Almost got myself killed by the bloody ribbons that guard the place. Bizarre, floating tapestries they are. Creatures of cloth and thaumaturgy. Fortunately, a few legionnaires got in the way. While the ribbons eviscerated them, I ran straight into Gravicius. He dragged me over the bridge to the Lunaris Temple in the west and put me in Piety's tender care. Didn't say a single word to me the whole time. I was nothing but a spoil of war to him. Tread carefully.
Interesting.
Yes.
Again, we're going to be hearing a lot of that because honestly, this story is very fascinating just to listen to.
That would just make life complicated.
But yeah, I know for a fact that like the big like historical event before any of like the, how do I explain it? So basically the big story before the events of this game is usually in the Purity Rebellion. I remember that. Because that was, you know, before the last major cataclysm.
When I'm ready, and not before.
Plus of Gaia Centauri. The Emperor honors Gaia Centauri as supreme servant. A man's thoughts are his shackles. A man's thoughts are his wings. That man's skin later became a saddle. But that's a bit of a spoiler. Or I think it is. No, it's not him. Is this guy. Bust of Hector Titutius. The Emperor honors Hector Titutius as supreme servant. Strength in purpose is strength indeed. Oh. Hello, Sister Cassia.
What do we have here? Yet another of Oriath's cast-offs. With the problems we're facing here, I do wish they'd send someone with a little more utility. Alas, we have useless exiles blowing in like spores on the wind. Cassia, by the by. Pleasure.
So I like how she doesn't even tell you what the hell is even going on. It's like, okay, just interact with this pump real quick.
Well done. Now be a good assistant and find a place to deploy a tower.
Fire's flame. The blight is reacting.
I have listened to bits and pieces of Cassia's like dialogue before, but I actually don't fully know what the deal with blight is. Which is a shame because, you know, it's my favorite thing in the entire game. Which blood didn't feel like complete ass sometimes. Yeah, I get that. There we go. I will say the main thing that I think of with regards to blight is the fact that, like, for example, you get these jewelry chests, or cysts, I guess. You get like the jewelry cysts or the armor cysts or the weapon cysts. I don't like those. I really do not like these things in blight because the rewards that you get out of them are usually just like amulet. Also, hold on, I'm pressing Alt. That literally gave me nothing. That gave me nothing. The fuck?
Success. And I couldn't have done it without God.
I suppose you're of some help as well. Don't get a big head. Alas, this is but one of many impure growths. We have much work ahead of ourselves if we are to banish this blight from Rayclast. Since you performed adequately, I believe we should make our partnership ongoing. You'll know where to find me.
Yeah, I would say that it needs more rewards, but it also needs, like, a fair amount of overhaul. I say a fair amount because, like, honestly, the single best way to play Blight is to have maximum penetration on a skill with high amounts of damage and then doing stalling strats with, like, physical and ice towers. Since they can drop Blight uniques. That's fair, yeah. But also, it's not that interesting. Like, the only thing that I can say that I actually really loved the idea of having Korg belts back in Mirage, but of course those didn't make it into core. So that's also why nobody is actually farming for Blight anymore. Exile.
Yes, it's true. I, like you, am an exile. I caught the High Templar's eye several years ago. I showed an interest in the mechanical arts, and he had need for someone like myself for some highly secret projects he had started. He sought ways to tap into the power contained within the virtue gems in ways that I'm not sure were in line with God's plan. I did not openly refuse his orders. I simply interpreted them differently. The mechanisms I built were brilliant and powerful, and totally useless for his desires. I may have kept some of them. Unfortunately, as you know, little slips past Dominus. I was exiled as a matter of secrecy, rapidly replaced by some little whore. What? She is a whore!
She said it, not me. Tell me more about this replacement of yours.
You likely know her by the name High Templar Dominus gave her. Piety. Ugh! A whore turned thaumaturgist turned inventor. Or at least, she wishes she were. I've seen some of her work. Unimpressive, considering the resources she has available to her. Not that I'm envious, I'm not. Really, good for her. But, you know, creators have a habit of getting caught in the teeth of their own creations, and Piety seems to favor creations with many, many teeth.
I love her absolute disdain for this woman. It's genuinely funny. Tell me more about these devices.
I've worked on many beautiful little machines in my time. Let's see. There was one that was originally designed to rapidly peel and pith fruit. That one is now called the Discalper. The portable oven turned out to be less of an oven and more of a red-hot ember dispenser. Still quite popular. And of course, the towers I have been assembling for use in protecting the portable purifying pumping unit. Those I am particularly proud of. Powered by the toxic fluid that runs through the fungal fibers. Surprisingly robust and safe. Relatively safe. Almost no one has died yet who wasn't meant to.
What about this fungi?
I've not seen anything like it before. The growths show no sign of intelligent thought, no clear ambition, yet the moment the pump's needle pierces the fungal flesh, creatures of all shapes and sizes begin to emerge from the mycelium. And they never stray away from it. The fluid within those growths may hold the key to controlling the minds of creatures, and hopefully something to protect us from such a power. Too many already vie for control of our wills. But that is the domain of the divine.
What about these anointing oils?
I see you've scavenged some oils with your sticky little hands. What in God's name are you planning to do with them? Oh, don't bother answering. I don't actually care, as I have a much better use than whatever nonsense you had planned. Bring me a few phials of those oils and I'll anoint your amulet and rings, as is tradition among the clergy. Such a blessing will unlock gifts within you that you may not even know you had. God helps those who help each other, after all.
So I believe that's most of the lore for Blight anyways. Like there really isn't much of a story reason. They're literally just it's just a tower defense for the sake of a tower defense. I kind of like that, but also it's just like, you know, when compared to other things in this game that have a lot more lore. There is more for Blight lore? Okay. Bust of Marsyas Lionii. The Emperor honors Marsyas Lionii as supreme servant. The road to glory is paved with sacrifice.
When I'm ready.
You did have to sacrifice an eye. Blood is just a fungus that is fucking dangerous. Yeah. Oh boy, we got... I know this is going to be a pretty lore-heavy place because not only that, we also got to pick up the Spiritus Decantus or whatever it is. But I believe there's also more stuff around here. I really do hope, though, that they add Blight into Path of Exile 2, because I would honestly... I would probably not play anything else in that entire game. Because again, Blight is like my favorite thing here, but it's just not the best in terms of rewards and whatnot. But I was like, if they were to revamp Blight at all to make it way better, dude, I would be so down for it. Yeah, I know about all the heist stuff with regards to Path of Exile 2, including the fact that Count Geonor himself wants to have like various artifacts that were stolen during the Purity Rebellion, or not during the Purity Rebellion, before then. He wants basically a bunch of artifacts that were originally of the Ezamites, from the Ezamites. He wants them returned to him. How's the PoE been? It's been going. We're just, you know, picking up more story. We did Blight. All right.
An emperor cannot allow himself to become buried in the shadowed vaults of self-doubt. Cannot allow thoughts of imagined disaster to spin about inside his mind like so many strife-splintered wheels. An emperor navigates his way through the terrors of perplexity with his eyes set firmly on the rising sun.
I do know that a lot of what Geonor's problem is, from what I remember, is mainly to do with his own personal, like, his own personal strife, if you will. Also, I don't need to go in here any further, so let's just go back out and, the goblins are still there. Oh, your stuff is garbage, my dude. Yeah, well, I'll take it.
Get out there!
Well, now I have an ally for a while. Being the bastard child of an Eternal would do that, especially with how the Ezamites actually think of the Eternals, because the Eternals, they pillaged their land and their people. They enslaved their people as well. A man is blinded by the mud of his corporeal self. Not only through the transformation of the material into the spiritual can we hope to taste the full body of life. Malachi the Soulless. Ancient notebook.
I write this now in hope that someone will remain. Someone may remember. The sun is an orb of blood. Twisted twilight shrouds my eyes. The air reeks of anguish. San has plunged into nightmare. The man who served me coffee now writhes on the floor. He rants of visions he alone can see as writhing red tentacles grow from his face, as if his eyes had been seeds waiting to sprout. He is quiet now, my waiter. No more cackling and screaming. Dead. Of my fellow patrons, only 2 live. The others have fallen. Their blood is everywhere. The survivors, gemlings both, their skin shrivels and grays to the hue of necrosis. Their gems flare with unholy luster, their eyes black as hatred. A gemling ghoul, it twisted off a corpse's head, gnaws at skull-like dog. My head now, visions clawing at me. Thinking burns. I see horror. Envy the mute corpses at my feet. Words flay me, flee me. All is madness.
Jesus. Yeah, that is literally what... That is like the exact... That's what happened during the Cataclysm. Insane. Yeah, I don't know. I've just been seeing that they've been adding a lot of Blight stuff to the game. So, like, Blight cosmetics and whatnot to the game. So I'm really thinking they might do it. Maybe. I don't know.
When I'm ready,
I think it would be fun if they did. That being said, this game also still has problems that need fixed with a lot of mechanics. Like Abyss. Abyss is like the biggest joke in this game at the moment. I guard chest. Machinery makes the minions, minions make the master. And I believe if you go over this way, yeah, there's just a thing there, shield there you cannot access.
Life is too precious to waste on you.
Oh boy, I just realized we're gonna get to talk with Fairgraves here. And do the one quest that literally nobody does. Hello, Fairgraves.
Now there's a familiar face. Before you say anything, yes, I did try to kill you. Inexcusable. I allowed pragmatism to overcome honor in a moment of desperation. Please accept my deepest apologies. And what do you say? Can the two of us make a fresh start? Marvelous! Now, as you've clearly noticed, the All-Flame has given me another respite from oblivion. Alas, it's a partial success only. I am neither man nor spirit, living nor dead. A state that comes with some rather frustrating restrictions. I know we've only just been reacquainted, but to put no finer point on it, I need your help.
All right.
Interested, are we? Oh, splendid! In return, I have a gift or two that I may bestow upon you with a click of my translucent fingers. All you need do is furnish me with a crystal decanter and a juicy piece of fruit. Two humble items that remain agonizingly out of reach for a man in my peculiar situation.
I just need one last drink.
Will you look at that? The decanter spiritus. As exquisite today as when I found it all those years ago. You may fault the man, but you can't fault his craftsmanship.
What about this Decanter Spiritus?
I'm sure you've heard of Malachi by now. Ever the heterodox, he sought otherworldly inspiration by imbibing a substance called ghost wine. For the purpose, he created the Decanter Spiritus. I found it on my last visit here. Liquid placed in this crystal decanter becomes quasi-apparitional in nature. I'm sure you can glean the decanter's usefulness to me. Conventional liquids simply don't hit the spot. I am one sorely parched revenant. I hid the Decanter Spiritus in the marketplace, so as not to cause temptation for the less morally steadfast in my crew. Look to the carven heraldry there, and find a lion dancing upon the waves.
How about Cheetah's Plum?
Emperor Chitus was stabbed in the posterior by his own Lord Mayor on the eve of the Purity Rebellion. Chitus's grieving gemlings buried him in the Imperial Gardens, and a plum tree was planted upon his resting place, so that his mourners might taste of his glory for years to come. I found that tree, and one of my men tasted its fruit. I've never seen so much agony crammed into such a brief moment. This may seem a peculiar request, but please bring me one of Chitus's plums.
All right, man. Sure. Anyways, how's your resurrection going?
This current form comes with rather frustrating restrictions. It's a small improvement on my last incarnation, but I'm a man who used to poke his sticky beak into the furthest corners of the world. Now I can barely cross the road. It was no mean feat getting here from Siren's Cove, I can tell you. So here's the truth of it. I intend to sup upon mine own death. Oh, fear not. The All-Flame will resurrect me, and with luck, will restore my full freedom. But for that to happen, I must die. And in such a manner as to excite the All-Flame to utmost ferocity. I am convinced that only the fruit of Chitus can provide a demise of sufficient tragedy. Life is full of painful choices, is it not?
Kind of explains how he's always... well, yeah, the Undying.
I visited Sarn some 30-odd years ago. Those ghasts, the Undying, you call them, scurried up from the sewers near the river and slaughtered all but a few of my most stalwart lads. Oh, they're a foul parody of humanity, those Undying. Nothing in common with a fine, upstanding revenant like myself.
Huh. Wow. Yeah, so that really does just explain the fact that he does just keep coming back. It's literally just the All-Flame is like, nope, you're going back in. Go again.
When I'm ready, and not before. I no longer need fear. Destiny is seen to that.
You know, at this point, I could very easily go and do the, I could actually go and do the Ascendancy. But I'm not going to just yet. I'm gonna wait until I'm a good amount of levels higher.
The Monkey King names you slave. No, you are the gems of Rayclad, not the treacherous stones you dig and die for. It is time to bend the Monkey King's ear Tell him your true name.
Yeah, that's definitely... I do believe that that is absolutely Victario. Thaumatic Sulfite. Essence of pure thaumaturgy. Apply with trepidation. Also, while I'm at it, let's go ahead and head back and get some of these things turned in. Argon?
The Beatles poet could hide us spoils from Chitters, but not from us, eh? I knew you was the exile for the job. I'm sure you've been more than compensated already from Victario's stockpiles, but here's a little extra. Care of something I found under a dead man's bed. Why? Just because I like you.
My man.
Greetings.
Marmo, what are your thoughts on Hargan?
Hagen is a man of many claims, and those claims seldom dance harmoniously together. A lie is a death sentence in Namakanui, so I was raised a daughter of truth. Hagen is a son of self-interest. He's no warrior, nor spirit singer. He's a Korangi. I don't know the right word in Oriathan, but in Karui it means he who wins wars with false promises.
Interesting they have a term for that. How about crossing the river? Any ideas?
Traversing the sewers under the river. I should have thought of that myself. Yet, the more of a picture you paint of that undying concoction in the sewers, the less I want to see it. If you manage to destroy it, expect a storm of undeath to descend upon you. The dark is their home, and there'd be nowhere more homely to the Undying than a pitch-swathed drain under a river.
Got it. How about this ribbon spool?
This ribbon spool device. Why would the blackguards want to protect it? And why on this side of the river? What is its import to them? And why have they not taken it back to their encampment? I give you only questions, I know. You found this near the Solaris Temple? Then perhaps that's where you should look for your answers.
All right.
You're right.
I should probably actually swap out some of my my gear from Act 1. Yeah, let's do that, shall we? Let's actually swap some of that out. That one. That only requires level 32, and I have the stat requirements, so I'll just grab that for now. I think I'm understanding why people, Moth specifically, would hate these goblins so much. I get it. I'm getting it. I'm getting there. Let's see. AF. Oh, that requires more strength. Well, hang on. I can actually get more strength, right? Well,
Don't
maybe.
Do anything I would.
Maybe. Okay. Before I do that, I should actually up the quality of everything. Give me movement speed. 20%. Hey, that's good. I'll take that. Hey, I mean, they do actually have the microtransactions now where you can essentially, like, if there's a nearby pet then it will it'll destroy that pet. And it works similarly with I was like, it works the same with the goblins, so yeah. You can now destroy the goblins. Actually, that's not bad. I'll keep that. And while I'm at it, let's also try rolling this and see. What I'm looking for is anything to do with cold damage to spells or increased cold damage, as well as plus to level of cold spells. Oh, and spell damage, obviously. Spell damage percent, I should say. Nah, not a fan of that. Wait, was that cold or chaos? Oh, well, we'll never know. Let me also... Chaos. Oh, wait a minute. Hey, that's actually really good. I could, I could all flame that is what I was about to say, and then I went, no, I better not. I mean, I could, but I'm not going to because it's a leveling staff. Like, come on. All right, let's see. What's the critical strike chance looking like right now? 9% already. Wow. Okay. Oh, yeah, let me also talk to Clarissa and Grigor.
What is it?
You got a lot more to say. How about Maramoa?
Maramoa? I've heard that the Karui have this philosophy. Makanui, the way of the warrior. I don't think you could get any more Makanui than her. She took it upon herself to look after me, before Tolman arrived. Saved my skin more than once. I'm fine with that. Beats being on her bad side.
'Cause that's a big, strong woman. And very pretty, too. How about those statues?
I know. So strange that stone and metal should move and live as you and I. Still, I read that Titus's sculptors used to soften their materials with thaumatic sulfite, a byproduct of gem refining.
Oh.
It's the only connection that I can fathom between the cataclysm and the living sculptures of San.
That does make sense. How about that cataclysm?
On the fall of the Empire, the historians are deathly silent. After the Purity Rebellion, the Kingdom of Kalm blockaded Oriath, preventing any trade or correspondence with the mainland. It's said that Kalm planned to invade. Only when the Karui retreated did Oriath get any news from Rayclast. But by that time, there wasn't really anyone left to tell the tale.
Purity Rebellion.
Titus thought that the gemling was the pinnacle of human progress. These glorious gems have brought us within spitting distance of godhood, he once said. The High Templar at the time, Vol of Thebris, thought they were a perversion. He wanted the Empire made pure, cleansed of the stain of thaumaturgy. You look at San and tell me which one you think was right. And while you're out there, look out for monkeys. No, not those bloody monkeys from Frisia. These ones are painted on the walls. I think you'll find them enlightening.
Thoughts on piety?
Halfway across the world, and yet the tie between Vanilla and I endures. That was Piety's real name back in Theopolis, before her rise to greatness. Vanilla sold her thaumaturgy in the day, her body at night. Sought after, she was. Enough so to become one of my best buyers. But money never meant much to Vanilla. No, she was striving for something better, nobler. Used to tell me that life needn't be this hard. It's time you all realized that. I bet she fed Tolman the same bloody line.
Tell me more about Vinia.
Vanilla was arrested for consorting with the unholy and condemned to the pyre. This was before the banishments. Dominus shared a last supper with her, heard her confession. Most think Vanilla earned Dominus's patronage on her back. I don't. Vanilla gave Dominus her better life and got a new name in return. You can count on one thing. Piety's grand future won't include the likes of you, me, or Tolman.
Well, there go the goblins. All right. Tell me about Piety's gems.
The blackguards talked about Piety's precious gems being infected with nightmare. Tolman, what did she do to you?
Probably best not to think about that. Thoughts on Grigor?
No one should have to go through what Grigor has. I help him as much as he'll let me, but he's a proud one, and so he should be. He's survived what has destroyed too many of us.
And Hargan?
Hargan likes to think he was my kind old uncle back in Theopolis. Granted, the work he gave me saved my parents and I from starvation. This was after my father lost the family fortune at the card table, and we had to give up the manor in the country for a flea box in Theopolis. But he's not half as generous as he makes out. When Hargan gives you something, you can be damned sure that he's getting his pound of flesh in return.
Alright, time to go into the Solaris Temple, since, you know, we... But I forgot that I had a mercenary this whole time! I was like, yeah, we've been hearing so much about this, this Temple of Solaris, so... guess we'll actually be able to find out more about it.
The shadow whispers and simpers at the Monkey King's feet. When the Monkey King puts his back to the sun, it is the shadow that leads the way.
I'd love to see the insides of this spell. I can't abide housework.
So that does kind of confirm that the entire reason that this place is so clean is because of thaumaturgy somehow. Who knows, maybe the ribbons. Also, I love how it uses, like, the same stock sound. The ribbons use the same stock sound as the sail in Wind Waker. I just know those sounds like the back of my hand because I've played that game so much in my past.
when I'm ready and not before.
Also, I forgot I need to actually... Oh, hey, I need to re-enable my auras. It's like I had to reorganize my hotbar a little bit so I could have elemental weakness on Q. Can I equip that? No, I don't have enough. Well, I will have enough strength, so I'll take it. And then I'll equip it later. Take that amethyst flask.
You are not a cockroach. Strange. Inundated with cockroaches I am. Black ones, four limbs, nasty, spiky things. Are you spiky? If so, my ribbons will pluck your spines. Malachi liked spines. Liked my spine. Pretty spine. Bejeweled and bountiful. Enough to make an empire weep. Do you weep, not a cockroach? I do. Tears are infinite. Why, on this very day I found a new reason to cry. What is that you have? Not a cockroach. My ribbons spool. Those black ones wanted them, my ribbons. Wanted to wrap the city in black ribbons. Now they are my ribbons forevermore. Forevermore. I hate forever. I could tear happy ever after from bards' bleeding tongues. You're still here, not a cockroach. Oh, gratitude, yes. I should give you a token. Token? What token? This? Is this to your liking?
I'll take that.
The cockroaches will come again. They want the twist. That cockroach emperor. The other bugs shout his name. Revicius. Cross the river, squash the emperor cockroach in his nest. The bridge. It is barricaded. That spawns a tricky question. Questions. I asked too many questions. Chit has told me so. I asked where it all went. Our feculence. He made them show me. Under the river. The sewers from this side to that. Filthy, fetid tunnels like a rower's cloaca. A black place. Crawling with the undying. Once beautiful and arrogant gemlings. Now the foul waste of the Empire. Fitting, isn't it? Apt. I like you, not a cockroach. I like that you listen. It would annoy me if the Undying murdered you. Formitic sulfite. That's what you need. You have some already. You are a resourceful umbug now, aren't you? Give it to me. I was all eyes and ears when Malachi worked. I will make something of your formitic sulfite. I will forge an infernal talc that will bring the most furious of light to the undying darkness. A dash of arcanity, a pinch of insanity, a whisper of profanity, and the infernal talc is now ready.
Yeah, Eternity has not been kind to Diala. I'm just gonna say that. A virtue gem is a raging thunderstorm imprisoned within a single raindrop. Infernal talc simply lets the storm out. From Malachi. Tell me about this infernal talc.
It's the most explosive of powders. A sprinkle, the gentlest of dustings of infernal talc will provoke gems to a molten rage, but the undying, the very sun will rise within their flesh. They will burn for their sins, not a cockroach. They will burn.
And Malachi?
I loved Malachi. He gave me gems, divine jewels for his gemling queen, for his dead queen. But I didn't want me dead. Malachi begged. For him, for the Empire. I chose me. Selfish me. The Empire died, and I live. I live, and live, and live, and live.
Cheetahs?
I was the Emperor's favorite for a time. But Cheetahs had many favorites. He filled the scepter of God with favorites. Every now and then, he cleared away the clutter. Those who pleased him, they were given to his lords and generals. Those who did not were given to his thaumaturgists. I talked too much, asked too many difficult questions. I was gifted to Malachi. My dear, troubled Malachi. Goodbye, not a cockroach.
Interesting.
Pretty as porcelain, but her mouth spins like the potter's wheel. That's how I once described Diala. Yet on this day, my lady is as ravishing as a nightmare, radiant as the fullest moon. Diala is my gemling queen, and we shall rule side by side over the world that will soon come to be.
More messages from Malachi, actually. And another reverie device.
I awoke, feverish and barely conscious. I set to drawing these maps through the sable hours. By morning, my fingers ached, my eyes burned, yet still I found no rest. The reverie commanded its rendering. The reverie device now stands completed. I've placed the first of my maps within its receptacle. I've taken my maiden voyage into nightmare. I know now that which sent me this precious gift. It knows me, expects my return. It would be foolish to disappoint. Malachi.
And yeah, that is quite literally, that is the Atlas. That's like the Atlas map device that we all use in the endgame.
Tear down the walls that imprison the mind. That is what the gems do. That is their true virtue. The moment my fingertips brushed the cool, silken plains of that first gem, I felt it. My skull ached as if its contents were growing, pressing against the bone, searching for a way to break free. That night, once the wine had dulled the pain enough to allow the onset of sleep, the dreams began. I have not been without them since, nor would I be. Every spark of thaumaturgy that I wield, every device that I forge, every creature that I transfigure, I owe to these lessons cloaked in nightmare. From whence do these precepts hail? Certainly not the mundane grey between my ears. I possess only one reference that bears faith. Translated with unquestionable clarity by that idiot savant, Isius Perandus, the beast. Duriani of the vow knew the truth. Soon now, so shall I.
That's the first mention of the beast. Because that's the source of all thaumaturgy, and also the source of dreams, which dreams are what you traverse in order to do the mapping in the endgame Atlas.
When I'm ready, and not before.
And obviously, like, one of the big things of note is the fact that, like, Doriani had a version of the Atlas before because of, well, Did he? I don't actually know if he did technically have a version of the Atlas. Because I know that what we have in the future is not completed. The story is not completed for the end game of Path of Exile 2. But, like, if Doriani had a sort of... If he had, like, a map device of some sort, then that would mean that Malachi is not the first to make it. But I think it is implying here that Malachi is the first to make the map device, so that he can explore these dreams of other people. Like, it makes sense to me, personally. But it is fascinating. As I always say. Chaos Orb. I guess I'll take it for the increased life and cast speed. Plus, it's better than just a white, a white, whatever that is, power amulet. And this, I'm still waiting on being able to equip this stuff. I should be able to next level because I have 27 strength on here. That'll give me enough strength in order to equip that chest piece. And now that we know about what the hell Gravicius's deal is, let's go ahead and kill. Let's kill Dominus's right-hand man, honestly.
You wanted me burned back in Audius Gravicius. That wasn't very nice.
That was actually quite rude of you, man. Onyx amulet, that's actually a pretty good. I'm gonna take that 2-stone ring because I can get
When I'm ready,
some
not before.
resistance stuff going on early. Because I think I'm still using, yeah, I'm just using a basic power ring from Act 1 still, so I could absolutely swap that out.
Or a target. Doesn't matter how this ends. Only that it does.
I don't want any of this.
No witnesses. Death calls. Don't take on too slow.
Level 32. All right, so we put this in here. Move everything over to here. We can equip that. And then we can also, well, we can't really equip that because I need to be able to actually get a 3. Wait. Hold on. I just realized. I can put it in my helmet. And if I do that, so 3014 versus 4490. Yeah, so that is just an increase. Oh yeah, and here's Cole, who we actually know now was a cellmate with Grigor in the past. And he's dead. And before we go anywhere, let's go back to town.
That would just make life complicated.
What's up?
Let's see. Maramoa.
You are the true spirit of the Makoru, the shark. Not the cowardly beast that sinks its teeth into the lonely swimmer. You strike the Waikoama, the canoe, spilling a feast of men into the water. Hunters turned hunted, that you dine on at your pleasure. Have this, Makoru.
Oh my god. I just realized. If Makoru is their word for shark, that's also the name of the ship captain in the second game. Yeah, she's quite literally a baby shark. I'll take Soul Rend. I actually like Soul Rend. I'm not going to use it, but I'll take it. Goblin. No. 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 You know what? I will actually take that because that has actually got increased spell damage, which is nice. Ooh, that's actually a really good set of modifiers. Let's see, what do I want on this? I'll take that. That's a good thing to take. Grigor.
The Gemling Queen? She's impossible. How did she survive? Why is she not one of the Undying? No, these questions can wait. There's a more pressing one. Is she safe from the Ebony Legion? You've been busy. With the spool back where it belongs, the ribbons should be able to keep the Ebony Legion at bay. We've both seen what they can do to a man. Whether you were saving your own skin or thinking of others, it matters little to me. You succeeded where I did not. You have stood in the presence of the Gemling Queen. I can only hope to meet her in my nightmares. Despite everything else you've done, to let piety live is to threaten the existence of every living thing on this continent. Look to the west of Gravisius's camp. You'll find piety in the Lunaris temple, cowering behind her desecrations.
What about this Lunaris temple?
The Eternals revered sun and moon as the two eyes of their god. The right eye judging Solaris, the left eye merciful Lunaris. I can't imagine that god being overly merciful when she finds out what piety's been doing in her temple.
I feel like I also have to mention the fact that we've actually seen Solaris and Lunaris already, because they are the two bronze figures on either side of the health and mana orbs. So yeah, we've actually seen them. We've been looking at them this whole time. They've been there for us. All right. Tell me about the Undying, Hargan.
Stay out of the shadows. They bite.
Okay then, great. Good to know. Well, General Gravisius is dead.
You've done for Gravisius? If only I could get word to that lad I smuggled away from the General's wife at the time. The good widow would need a sympathetic shoulder to cry on. Bring me back something nice, huh?
Alright, well, I guess it's time to go into the...
I don't take contracts from just anyone. You own this.
Time to go into the Lunaris temple with the funny Slendy Tubby scream.
You either master Nightmare, or it lasts.
It is interesting to think about this area now that we know the story of the entire game a lot more as well. Because... including the fact that we know more about the second game, one of the big notes of, like, communing with the beast is that you require a lot of blood to be spilled. But at the same time, this is also just, you know... this is also just her doing random experiments just because. Just because she can. Because she's curious.
Job's done.
Oh, I just find this all very fascinating to, like, look into more.
I give up the cloth. Make your choice.
I guess I'll take some
We'll both be on
currency.
salvation, Exile. I speak for no God.
Hey, oh wait, this guy's got Flame Blast? Ace Mercenary.
When I'm ready, and not before.
Oh, he's even using Scorching Ray totems. Hell yeah, dude. Alright, so Now, we go fight Piety. Oh, at level 33, no less. Will do.
Of all the worlds you could have conquered, you had to choose mine. Such power wasted on a feeble imagination. I'll mourn your passing, sister.
Jesus Christ, that's a lot of damage.
Damn you!
That was a lot of damage. God will only offer the door. Man must choose whether to open it.
Very fond of.
Anyways, look at that man. Just a sip of water.
You have claimed the most worthy of prey, Makoru. Piety, the mistress of corruption. I'm not saying the war is over, but you've given Rayclast a much-needed respite. Because of you, this land lives to see another dawn. And don't forget that you've done Grigor and Clarissa a justice of some magnitude. They will wish to speak to you.
About the Undying.
Citizens of the Sun that was. The Undying have been around for hundreds of years. Left to their own devices, they'll likely survive for hundreds more. Still, they're not immune to mortality's touch. They can be killed, with some difficulty. Be well.
Neat. Argon?
Right, he's off to meet the Maker, is she? I'd love to be a fly on the wall of that little chat. Don't do anything I would.
Clarissa!
Wherever he is, I'm sure Tolman knows what you've done. I know you didn't do it for him, or for me. It doesn't matter. Piety's reign of cruelty is over. Thank you.
Also, I killed General Gravicius.
Gravicius dined with us once. This was before my father's gambling debts caught up with him. I dined with him again in Theopolis prison the night before my exile. He wasn't so polite that time. Thank you. That's one memory I can now put to rest. Watch yourself.
Piety dies amongst her abominations, her warped dream taunting her, maddeningly out of reach. As a poet, I'm fond of that creed of justice. Here, the executioner needs recompense. Unfortunately, Piety was simply a puppet of a greater force. You've cut the strings, but the master remains. Dominus. That key you've picked up, I heard the blackguards talk of it. It's the one key to the Scepter of God on the northern edge of the blackguard encampment. Only Piety was permitted to carry it. Dominus accessed his laboratory at the summit of the tower via a pulley system rigged to the outside wall. That way will be barred to you. And I heard of no one, not even Piety, going in or coming out of the lower levels. Go with care, Exile. I can't imagine what's inside that tower if even Piety and Dominus feared to tread its steps.
Tell me about this beast.
When Piety was experimenting on me, my consciousness was mercifully fleeting. In those moments of numbing darkness, I met a presence. Intelligence, power, immensity beyond the limits of my pitiable mortal senses. To this creature, I was but a raindrop falling into the sea. I heard Piety speak to her lackeys of the beast. It is the source of her thaumaturgy and the object of her ambitions. I believe Piety's beast and that dark entity are one and the same. Wherever it is, whatever it is, the beast is the cause of my malformation. It would not be a stretch of reason to consider the beast the source of all malformation in Rayclast.
And that it is.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Need something?
And anyone have anything else to say?
What do you want?
No? Okay, cool. So I guess that means we can move on and get the last little bit of Ascendancy, which technically I already have, and then also do one last side quest before we actually go and do the Ascendancy and then fight Dominus.
When I'm ready, and not before.
And again, considering this has been going on for quite some time, I'm absolutely going to call it after that, but we've still got a while left, because, I mean, even the Labyrinth has lore. And quite a bit of important stuff in it, too. Like...
I speak for no god.
Again, obviously, I won't be able to get everything for that, but... I could attempt to get most of it. There it is, the Imperial Gardens.
Very well. You win. I'll do as you ask.
There's the library. Ooh, voice crack. It also makes sense then why defeating the beast would be even more important here. It's because of the fact that, like, because it is the source of all thaumaturgy, because it is the thing that is resurrecting everything, it is the thing that is causing the most problems right now. Unfortunately, it also caused a number of other issues, as we will find out later, but... it is starting to make more sense. I also find it funny that whenever I was originally paying attention to the story of this game, I actually did one major thing wrong, and that is that I stopped paying attention to it halfway through. And I mean, by about this point, I had stopped entirely paying attention to the game. Whenever and this was like 2-3 years ago, so it's a long while ago. But we have Cheetah's Plum. As succulent as blood, as sweet as power. And I see Cassia is guarding the final of the bronze monographs that I need to look at. Oh, it's over that way. Whoopers! There it is.
A leader cannot simply stride forward into the future and expect his people to be able to follow. A leader must look over his shoulder so that he can witness and understand the consequences of the path he has chosen, to ensure that his people are still with him, to ensure that he has not become lost.
All right, and I've already gotten that, so we can now... Wait, no, actually, I actually do want to go back here because I want to do the library first, because I never do the library quest. But at the same time, since I'm right here, I can also go ahead and head to the docks and finish up Fairgrave's quest.
Look at the sheen on that plum. Is it not the most delectable fruit that you've ever seen? No? Perhaps the gloss of hope is for my eyes only. Wondrous! Nothing bonds two souls more soundly than murder. For that reason alone, I knew you could be relied upon. Now, for a little amateur vintnering. A quick squeeze of the plum, like so, into the decanter. Oh my! Look how it transmutes the juice so swiftly, from material to spectral. Effortless. And what an aroma. Imminent death never smelled so sweet. I believe I shall call this fine concoction.
I like that we can't even. He didn't even finish up what he was saying. And yeah, for doing all that, you just get some rings.
A toast to swift endings and promising new beginnings. Oh, and you might want to avert your gaze once I have quaffed this diabolical brew. I doubt that my return to solidarity will be a pretty one. Right. As I used to say in the love dens of Trathus, bottoms up, girls. Oh my. Now that's an unusual sensation. Oh dear. Something is amiss. The All Flame. It's... No. No. It's gone out. What am I... What are you? No, you cannot be. I will not.
Poor sailor boy, doomed to go wherever the winds blow him.
And he was never seen or heard from again. Not even once. Okay, what do we got anyways? Increased defenses. Yeah, I'll go with the increased defenses while wielding a staff, because that is a very nice node to have. Now we go into the library and learn about this guy and his deal. I'm gonna have to actually do some reading for this one. Okay, here we go. All right. Volume 3, Slaves of Virtue. Another shipment of human picks and shovels bound for Highgate. Ezamites, mostly. Care of Gaia Centauri's civilization camps. A few dark skins here and there, Karui and Maraketh. Malachi has had his wicked way with them all. Limbs are stretched and contorted, double and triple jointed, all the better to pluck gems from the cracks and fissures of their home, and doomed to be. They squint and cower in the sun, their eyeballs injected with gloom so that they might see in the subterranean night, as they would in their warm homeland day. The shackled slaves shuffle north as the gems they mine tumble south, a glittering landslide of power and privilege for the fairest of our eternal citizens. Civilization is bought and paid for with the flesh and blood of the primitive. It is a debt that will one day need to be repaid. Unfortunately, I can't actually attack without closing that menu, so I have to, like, if there's an enemy attacking me, I have to either just finish reading or, you know, move on. Yeah, I feel like I've definitely gotten a little bit worse with, like, sight reading. I don't know if that's actually what it's called, but, like, where you essentially are able to, like, read text at the same time as you're reading it aloud. Siosa.
Please, do not be alarmed. I am neither monster nor murderer, though that is the duality of existence that defines San these days. My name is Siosa Fuanga, and I have the bleak honor of being the sole scholar to the Imperious Intellection, this grand repository of knowledge you see about you. May reason preserve us. In more mundane circumstances, it would be preposterous to ask this of you, an utter stranger, but given that I don't know in which century I might see another pair of flesh and bone hands, there's a door, you see, concealed behind the shelves. It leads into the archives. That's where Isius Perandus concealed his golden pages. Can you see how maddening that would be for me? No, of course you can't. Ridiculous of me to... Suffice to say that they are beyond my reach. 4 Varlish texts they are, of priceless historical insight.
Really?
Please, find my friend's golden pages and bring them to me. You will be rewarded. I vow it before the ancestors.
Fascinating.
My knowledge is yours.
Is this guy? I think this guy's Karui as well, which is fascinating, actually.
Talamwana, friend.
Yes, he is. Cool. All right. What about the painting?
It was a Karui Motiata that discarded my failing body of flesh in favor of canvas and oil. An ancient song and a momentary lapse in judgment that I've had more than enough time to regret.
Oh. What about the archives?
It is the Karui way to observe nature in nature. The fish without the sea is no longer a fish. It is dinner.
Agreed.
The Eternals did not see it that way. An Eternal catches the fish, guts the fish, preserves the fish, and places it in a box. Only then does the Eternal feel he truly understands the fish.
I think I get what you're saying. Still, I'm interested in this because 4 Volish pages, like that's important. That's very important. I mean, the Vol are already so unknown in this game. Is that a motherfucking deer? I think that's a deer. Right, the Purity Chronicles. Book 6, The Rapture Device. Vol condemned Malachi to the crematorium for living conflagration, but it seems that Malachi's promises have saved him from the pyre, and into thaumaturgy, he claims. A fancy that our Emperor is willing to humor. For over a year now, Malachi has been consigned to the Solaris Temple, forging a new mechanism that will purge Rayclast of its otherworldly vices. Today, the first Fiero of Eterni, 1336 IC. Malachi and his gemling queen gripped each one corner of a silken mantle and unveiled his rapture device. Like a pit of copper snakes, it writhes before the eyes. Whether it is a miracle or a monstrosity, none but Malachi can say. Yet tomorrow, Vol shall lead the Highgate Legion home, conveying Malachi, Lady Diala, and this bewildering apparatus north. North from whence the first gems came, from whence the nightmare of Cheetus' thaumatocracy was born. It is in Highgate that our Emperor Vol will finish what he started. He will burn Cheetus' empire from history and raise up a fresh and pure theocracy from the ashes of arrogance and corruption. God be with you, Vol of Thebris, and with us all. It is interesting because I read all of this before on the wiki, just on my own time. But hearing it now is actually very interesting, like, as you start to discover it, because it's like, it's given to you in bits and pieces where it's like, you know, little bits here and there, and then you have to put the pieces together as they might have, you know, as they might have formed. I like that. I like whenever stories are told, you know, non-linearly like that. It's fun. I'm just making sure that there's no other book icons around here. And it does not look like there is. All right, now let's actually go get this guy's pages.
When I'm ready, and not before.
There we go. Let's see. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? I'll go this way because cold damage and stuff is there. Oh, I see another book icon. There's more reading for me. Wait a minute. The Ancients? What Ancients are we talking about? Book 4, Raising the Asmeri. Drain a cup of Asmerian tea and then try to read your future in the leaves. You'll find that your Valish will come in mighty handy. Our literature was conceived and born within the Asmeri culture. Within the Asmeri's cultural marriage with the Val. Prior to Val contact, some 2,500 years ago, the Asmerian culture had a purely oral tradition of story and record keeping. Afterwards, their literary culture blossomed, along with just about every other aspect of their fledgling civilization. From the moment the first Valish ambassadors set foot upon the rugged slopes of the Asmerian ranges, the Val civilization held the hand of the Asmeri as they grew from a primitive tribal existence into a cohesive culture of settlement and agriculture. Yet while the Val were generous with their knowledge and guidance in many areas, there is one subject upon which they were notably silent: the tears of the Magi, now known as virtue gems. Despite an exhaustive search, neither account nor passing reference can be found regarding gem usage among the early Asmeri, though they describe the Val as having their flesh adorned with glittering crystals. Our Asmerian ancestors were never privy to the gems' potentials or powers. At least, not until the first Val refugees came knocking 500 years later. So that's more talking about, like, the origins of the Eternal Empire. or more specifically, the Eternals themselves.
When I'm ready, and not before.
Because yes, some of the Esmerian people did just kind of go their own separate way, while, you know, the others kind of merged with the remaining Val after the Cataclysm in order to become the Eternals, the Eternal Empire. Stand. Siosa, your slavery will cause them to overlook you. Your Karui way will guide you. Your humanity will shame us all. A communion, but with what? By all accounts, it wasn't God that the Val were trying to reach. Nope, they were trying to commune with the beast. More specifically, Atziri was. The Val were even more steeped in gem culture than our Emperor and his gemlings. It's an obsession as old as the civilization itself, or as old as civilization itself. A waking nightmare, madness of the mind, or madness of the flesh. We'll go ahead and also check around everywhere else to see if there is anything left to find. I don't think there will be, but just in case. Yeah, no, I'm seeing no book icons, so we will be okay to leave. You know what? I could have also just, you know, portaled out and then go back into the waypoint. I just realized I could have done that, but oh well.
By the ancestors, it's good to see fresh words in front of me. Now, my translation skills are not what Isius were. I can achieve a meager paraphrase at best. But a little knowledge is better than none, is it not? Let us begin. This tapestry of truth is a threadbare cloth indeed, but at least you have allowed me to begin the first few stitches in its restoration, and to settle the memory of a dear friend. In return, allow me to give you this. A little practical wisdom to improve your lot.
Yeah, and this is actually where you get a shit ton of possible gems. In fact, if you were to purchase items from him, you have access to pretty much every single gem available to you right now. So that's pretty good. I'm gonna take a moment to just be right back. I gotta use the restroom, but I'll be back. Okay, I'll be back. Okay. Yeah, that didn't take long at all. All right, now we get to listen to the
May
translations of these
reason
pages.
Preserve us. My word. Valish contextualized syntax is a slippery eel indeed. Let me see if I can grab it by the gills. They carried their virtue gems to Doriani's bed. No, that's not quite right. Ah, yes. Doriani's cradle. The historian finishes that it was a price they needed to pay to ensure a Valish future. A cradle of virtue gems? What sort of Valish future did Doriani hope to ensure?
How about page 2?
Splendid. Let's see what this page has to offer us. It talks of Queen Atsiri. Now, here's a portentous line. She drenches her altars with the blood of those deranged enough to question her vision. The next piece is a real eye-crosser, but I believe it refers to a communion. Something to do with the harvest moon? Again, Doriani seems at the heart of it. Good. This line I can read without issue. This will be our final night of fear, our final night of suffering. Sacrifice, communion, the harvest moon. An unsettling combination.
Tell me about page 3 then.
Oh my. This first line is frighteningly clear. Our queen is dead. Doriani is dead. So many have fallen, so many have changed. The latter text is almost indecipherable. It practically hums with agitation. Let me see. I can make out the words sleep, nightmare, and the beast. Whatever that may be. Our historian finishes with, we have succeeded where our forebears did not. We have failed ourselves. I need not imagine the fall of the Val. I saw the nightmare with my own eyes.
All right. Page 4.
Strange. I was put in charge of dating the most antiquated of texts. This parchment, it's a remarkable copy, but it's no original. Much younger. Oh my. Listen to this. My dearest Isius, I have been enlightened beyond expectation. Your work in translating these artifacts is worthy of the highest recompense, and thus I am delighted to offer you a position in my personal laboratory. Please do not give your escorts any consternation. I would be most pained to see such a precious asset damaged in any way. I very much look forward to working with you. Isius Perandus, your friend and admirer, Malachi. Poor, poor Isius. Wherever you went, my pity goes with you.
Wouldn't feel too bad. He is a Perandus, after all. All right, tell me about Doriani.
I suppose every civilization has its Doriani, its Malachi, men of divine talent and demented ambition. Without them, history would be a far less interesting place.
And Queen Atziri?
Malachi would never have risen so far without the patronage of an emperor like Chittus. It would appear that Doriani and Queen Atsiri shared a similar relationship. It was said of the beautiful Atsiri that she wished to see her likeness reflected in the still waters of history. Chittis was no less self-impressed. Of all the sins, vanity is the most hideous.
And the cataclysm?
San fell in the course of an hour, no more. A tempest raged down from the mountains and engulfed the city, throwing it into midday darkness. I saw madness in my colleagues' eyes, watched as the most rational men in the Empire jabbered and slavered and slaughtered each other. I witnessed Trinian, our gemling intellectus prime, engulfed by the radiance of his flaming cranial gem, and wither like a grape in the sun into a thing of desiccation and famishment. I've seen mountains spew fire in Ngamakanui. I've seen waves as tall as trees and winds that leveled warriors and walls alike. Nature is what nature is. There was nothing natural about the cataclysm.
I think the thing to note is that we will be seeing what the cataclysm is in Path of Exile 2 at some point, because for one, that's what it's building up to, is obviously the resurrection of the beast, but also in order to have the transition from the acts to the endgame, they talk about the cataclysm as though it already happened. So we're going to be able to see this firsthand in that game pretty soon. Anyways, tell me about Malachi.
How Malachi survived the Purity Rebellion, I don't know. He was at Emperor Vol's side before Chittis' corpse was even cold. I suppose Vol found him as difficult to refuse as Isius did. Fortune favor you.
So that was a lot of lore that we got out of this area. Like, a lot of lore. Alright, but now we finally get to ascendancy stuff, so.
You stand before the gates of the Lord's labyrinth. Within these walls, the Lady of Justice doth preside. She shall weigh your mind in one hand, your heart in the other. Should she find you wanting, death shall be your sentence. Should she find you worthy, you will be given the loyalty and love of an empire. The Lord's labyrinth awaits you. Choose wisely, strike quickly, trust completely, and may you find the ending that you deserve. The just goddess presides over us all. The future of the Empire rests in her even hands.
Okay.
The goddess is watching.
So I do know that there are some bits of lore that are in here.
In the impressionable youth of my reign, I was encouraged to believe in the precious nature of my imperial blood. The divine claret, as one fool of a courtier would repeat with tiresome regularity. Unfortunately, my divine claret refused to pour from one cup to another. Try as I might, with a lovely procession of young and ever-dutiful wives, my noble seed simply would not sprout. Who then to choose as my worthy successor? With the candidates on hand either mediocre at best or maniacal at worst, I found myself in quite the quandary. That's when fortune took me by the hand and led me to a forgotten tome on a forgotten shelf in the quietest corner of San Library. A tome entitled Ancient Traditions of Asmarian Ascendancy. The rest, one might say, is history.
I do remember reading about that because that is how Cheetahs ended up coming to power. Or specifically, yes, he came to power, but not in a way that even Izuro wanted. He cheated, is what it is.
Oh, the weary traveler draws close to the end of the path. The Asmari were the first culture known in history to use trials of strength, wisdom, and spirit to select its chieftains. The first Lord's trial was a rough-hewn maze festooned with wild animals and brutal traps, crafted to test aspiring Asmarian leaders' body, mind, and soul. In conquering the adversities of the maze, a champion proved they were capable of bearing the crushing burden of chieftainship. The first trials were simple contraptions reflecting simple times. As the Asmarian civilization grew in number and complexity, so did the trials, from treacherous mazes to bewildering labyrinths. Alas, there are no surviving descriptions of the labyrinth that tested and proved the worth of Viruso Prima Imperialis. I imagine it was quite something to behold. When one defiles the effigy, one defiles the Emperor. You are relentless.
I gotta wait for... No, I don't need to wait for shit. What am I saying?
When I'm ready, and not before.
By the goddess, what ambition! An empire should sparkle like ice upon the winter stone.
Oh yeah, I think this is where we start getting information about...
The son of Esamir met the son of San upon the road to the imperial throne. The Eternal offered his cunning. His eyes and ears bought and paid for. The Esamite offered his strength. His sword, earned in the arena. A pact was forged, with the labyrinth as witness. Two men separated by blood. Two men bound by hope. Two men, and only one emperor.
When the time comes to strike, an emperor strikes without hesitation. To entertain doubt is to dance with death. The Asmari were consummate survivors. They had to be, having been sired in the most inhospitable range of mountains in all of Rayclast. Unfortunate, some might say. I do not. I believe it was the making of them, and of us, their descendants. So it is no wonder that they developed the Lord's trial. With survival being a moment-by-moment concern, that harried people grew to understand power quite intimately. Strong leadership is able to bridge the chasm between existence and extinction. Poor leadership might see an entire tribe vanish into that same chasm. When the Asmeri descended from their mountains to conquer the fecund lands of central Rayclast, they thrived and multiplied with utmost alacrity in those more forgiving climes. For is it not poverty that teaches us how we might excel in times of plenty?
I will say this. I do know about Izuro being, like, one of the genuinely coolest characters in the entire, like, in the entire lore of the game.
You are condemned. Such resilience. This empire remains filled with emperors in waiting.
I believe there should be some more lore around here somewhere. Maybe. Another poem, probably, because
When I'm ready and not before.
oh, I do see a poem. Is it gonna be the same one, or is it gonna be a different one?
A guide, cornered and quailing. A warrior, watching. The moment bathed in the shadow of doubt, of ambition, of an imperial throne, and a people made free by an emperor of Ezemir. The warrior threw off that cold and cloying shadow and struck down the slavering beasts. The guide looked to the warrior with gratitude in his eyes and spoke of doubt, of ambition, of an imperial throne and a people made free by an emperor of Zaan.
An aspirant can afford to be promising. An emperor must keep those promises. The custom of the Lord's trial was upheld throughout the founding years of the Empire. Veruso's successor, Caspiro, was a low-born legionnaire, the lone survivor of a labyrinth that claimed the lives of every high-born contender, including Veruso's only son. Caspiro proved to be every bit the emperor that Veruso was. Alas, the Lord's labyrinth was corrupted by those with the vanity to consider their blood more precious than their empire. Selfish blood breeds selfish times, and the Empire paid for it with its own blood, with the Knight of 1,000 Ribbons, with that most regal of cannibals, Emperor Romira. Not anymore. I, Izaro Frecius, shall return us to justice. I shall build the greatest Lord's labyrinth in Asmerian history, and my successor shall be chosen by the goddess herself. Only when the Lord's labyrinth is drenched in selfish blood can a true leader ascend the throne.
The guide led the warrior down a path that wound and twisted through fields of blossoming promises, green-bladed hopes. The warrior closed his eyes, a mere moment to feel the warmth of the sun on his back and to drink from the guide's proffered flask. Now the warrior staggers and crawls down the wounded, tortured causeway. The bitterness stings his weeping eyes. The fire roars in his belly, consuming him. The warrior will not ascend. Instead, he hunts, guided by his love for Esamir.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that's the body of the guy who basically helped Cheetahs throughout the entire labyrinth. And Cheetahs, well, stabbed him in the back, killing him. Poisoned him, probably, from the sounds of that.
Awaits you with open jaws. Honor your name.
Ironically, the entire time, the idea was that this labyrinth was made so that, you know, it could get a proper emperor. Fortunately, it still turned out the same way that it had in the past.
You are free. Before your emperor, you are worthy. Before the goddess of justice, you are worthy. Receive our blessings, embrace our gifts, and rise, Ascendant. For this is the ending that we all deserve.
What do we got for options? Quality. To skill gem. Aww. Whoa, 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 whoa. Lag. Okay, we're fine, we're fine. So yeah, now we get to choose our ascendancy. And obviously, like, I know that, like, occultist would be very, very nice to go with for just general purposes. I was like, occultist is a very good class in general. I like it. I've never actually managed to play it, but I do know it is very good. Gain a spirit infusion. What the hell? Each stack of spirit infusion grants 15% faster start of energy shield recharge. Channeling spells deal 5% more damage, and channeling spells have 10% more cost, maximum of 10 stacks. What the fuck? So you can actually do, like, channeling builds with this. Oh. Hey, wait a minute. That's actually really good. Also, regenerate 100 energy shield per second. Cannot be stunned while you have energy shield. Maximum energy shield is increased by chance to block spell damage. Wow, that's good. Obviously, Elementalist. It's like the thing that everybody goes with nowadays because of mainly Liege of the Primordial. But it does have some other good options. I do want to play as Necromancer, but now at this point, I'm actually kind of doubting my choice because I'm not gonna lie, a manual caster like this would actually be really, really interesting. I'll let it simmer.
Embrace.
And I can always change it later if I really want to. But that being said, auras from your skills grant 3% increased attack and cast speed to you and allies. You and nearby allies deal 30% increased damage and have 30% to elemental resistances. For free, by the way. I'm already at capped resistances And I'm sure my damage is pretty high as well once we actually get into a normal map, but yeah. Now with that out of the way, I guess we can finally ascend the Scepter of God and kill Dominus now that we know what the fuck is going on.
When I'm ready, and not before.
Oh boy. More stuff.
Remember, Dominus, what goes up must come down.
Malachi, Laureate Thaumaturge to the Eternal Empire, the Father of Dreams. Hang on. Huh.
Your body is the canvas, my blade, the brush. I eagerly await your
Groshi Yar.
decision.
Wow, this is all garbage. And I... You know what? Give me that.
This will be easier if you hold still.
He's just frozen to death.
I'll join you, but I keep the bodies.
I like the desert.
See, it would be great. Because this guy, if I remember right... Yeah, this guy has Rallying Cry with Second Wind. Imagine if I actually, like, managed to get that as an attacker. Kind of big, actually. Unfortunately, I'm playing as the witch, and I'm using spells. I also don't think there's a lot of lore in here, but could be wrong.
Oh, flesh and blood.
Nope, there's some lore there. I see it. I see the book icon, and I must have book. Give me book. Give me that book.
My dear Chitus, the Empire has lived in fear and ignorance since its inception. Our Asmiri ancestors, in their arrogance, turned their backs on the lessons of the vow. The emperors before you lacked courage, lacked vision, paying lip service to eternity while scrabbling for approval and comfort within the prison of their meager, mortal lives. You are not one of those emperors. You are Chitus the Great, the man who will make this empire truly understand the meaning of the word eternal. We shall build this thaumatocracy together, my emperor. Gem by gem, immortal by immortal. Your devoted servant, Malachi.
So what this tells me is that the Scepter of God is quite literally just... It is the, like, the housing of the Emperor.
When I'm ready, and not before.
Pain is purpose.
Or it's also the housing of Malachi himself, but because that would explain the statue
fight
below,
well.
but...
Together we can do extraordinary things.
But I personally want to say that it is the Emperor. So in this case, it would be Chitus. Stairs. I keep getting hit by like random lag spikes, so. Oh yeah, and normally this is where you would actually normally this is where you would get the Scion unlocked. She'd just be in here and you would just have to interact with the cage, and there you go, you get the Scion. I believe they actually changed that this league though, so now you no longer need to do that. You can instead she's just unlocked by default.
You'd bite the master that called you here, witch?
Such sweet suffering. Yes, paint the ground with their blood.
Have you ever seen the true face of God, Exile? The touch of God!
I also love the fact that he is using Doriani's fist, which is an artifact from the Val Empire, obvious. That the Eternals then stole away from. The Eternals then stole it away because that was something they did a lot, and then probably managed to find its way into Dominus's hands because of him being a Templar and whatnot. Or it's just using a very similar design as what Doriani had, which is also very possible. Also, holy wow, that is a lot of damage.
No one will cry for you, Dominus. Not a soul.
There's Diala.
You have mounted the summit of the Empire, not a cockroach. You have crushed the bug Emperor and wiped his maggot dreams from the skin of Rayclast. Dominus exiled you, naked and alone, unto the palm of death. But you would not die, would you? No. No. You cuddled death, promised it the world, made it your consort, and so generously shared it with all your fleeting friends here in Rayclast. Not once did you forget what you were. Not a cockroach feeding on the corpse of the dead Empire, like the pests you crushed as you walked. A woman. The sort of woman that planted the seed of this Empire right here in Sand so long ago. What teetering and twisted life
It is
still
actually
holds
Doriani's
dear.
fist? Okay.
This land owes to you, witch. Of course, there will be more. You know that, don't you? Emperors. Avaricious little pests scrabbling to steal the legacy of their betters. Unless we burn that legacy, sear its infection from the flesh of existence. Go north, my lovely unbug. Go to Highgate, to the beginning of the end. Dive headlong into the nightmare sea. Catch and roast yourself a nice big fishy.
Well, I'll go to the aqueduct, but mainly so that I can just...
I'm yours. For now. Handle with care.
Head back to
Just
town.
reeks of corruption.
Because now we get to talk with everybody, and
That would
we
just
see...
make life complicated.
To kill a man like Dominus. That's an accomplishment worthy of Calm, my greatest ancestor. Were we in Namakanui, I'd make you a Makanga, an honored warrior. But we are not in Namakanui. We dwell in a city of death, and my respect is all the honor I can bestow on you.
Fair. Tell me about Piety and Dominus.
You have claimed the most worthy of prey, Makoru. Piety and Dominus, the harbingers of nightmare. I'm not saying the war is over, but you've given Rayclast a much-needed respite. Because of you, this land lives to see another dawn.
That was also originally where the story ended, like way back in the original versions of the game. So you had to play through this campaign 2 more times in order to get to the end game.
Hello.
And honestly, that is actually a very satisfying conclusion. Like, that is a good spot to end it. It's like, yeah, we've just reached the end of Dominus, who is the big bad at this point. And the only place that we can go after that is, like, you know, fighting the beast and whatnot. But I am going to have to call it good because I got to get back to doing artwork. I was just mainly taking a bit of an extended break from that. And obviously, we just ended the act, and that was a long act. That was almost 3 hours long. So I am glad that people are showing up for these. I'm really enjoying playing these. I think that it's awesome. I think it's fun. And I hope that y'all are enjoying it as much as I am, because this is fun. This is really fun. I love playing this game, but now that I'm actually like learning about the story and whatnot, it's just fun, you know? It's just fun to play. So I will be leaving it off here. I hope y'all enjoy, and I hope that y'all will join me whenever we go to play even more later on. I don't know when that's gonna be, whether it be tomorrow, later tonight. I don't know. I don't have a streaming schedule. I just stream whenever I choose to. But yeah. Anyways, thank you all for coming out tonight. Thank you for, you know, watching this story with us. And I will see y'all when I see ya. Goodbye.